Corey, you and I are checking out a Starfighter game in kind of a Tron-inspired world today. Corey, so you and I jumped into kind of a unique title. It threw me back to like an 80s vibe with Tron and stuff.
Oh, this game's kind of screaming 80s, man.
Yeah.
You've got that 80s synth music. We've got
cool.
these bright neon colors in this kind of Tron-inspired, checkerboard universe, I guess you want to call it.
That's
right?
basically it, right? So it starts off, first of all, you're like outside of an arcade and you get beamed up by like this alien.
From an arcade machine,
And up you go, right? I'm watching this going, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the highest quality graphics we've seen, but again, it's very 80s inspired.
It is very, and then the old computer comes up, and I'm like, all right, so I'm buying it so far. Right? I'm kind of giggling at the same time, and I'm looking, I'm like, all right, this is cool.
Yep.
But then you get to pick your ships and stuff, and this is where the level design I thought in this game was really unique. We reviewed a game called Etherborn. We did a preview game on this, and it kind of reminded me of that.
Yep.
So this game, the way it works is you get your spaceship, but you start on a platform, but the platform rotates.
Well, so
you never
axis,
fall.
right?
Exactly, you never fall off, but you're constantly rotating around the world, around the level itself, which can be mind-bending.
Well, Dystoria is the name of this one, and I'll tell you, I felt disoriented by the time I was done playing this game. But it adds to the difficulty of this game, and this game isn't easy.
No,
it's
not.
meant to be kind of a hard puzzler. It's simple in what you have to do. You collect orbs, you destroy enemies, and that's how you complete the level. And the levels are all kind of pre-made, floating kind of in a space area, and you're riding along these levels. But because it's basically just looks like, grid cubes, this is what this is made out of. So as you're flying your ship and you need to go around the edge, well, as you go over that edge, you go over, but then your whole camera angle shifts. But if it happens to be a short edge and you go over another one, your cameras change.
Oh yeah.
And even just on the PC, I was having a tough time with the controls a little bit. I mean, they're simple, but again, I was also went into the settings and couldn't find any stuff to do with the controls.
There was no.
The nice thing is that you have some weapons and stuff you can customize for your ships, because you can upgrade them as you go. You can buy new ships, new weapons, things like that. And what I liked is on the bottom it displays all your your shift key, E key. Those are but I didn't find any customization options. Like I want to maybe change my key binds to make it a little more comfortable for me. And I had a tough time actually with some of them. But again, like I said in past reviews, I am pretty pedestrian with keyboard and mouse. So I was getting used to it again. But
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. It felt pretty good. And you gotta really rely on your mouse. Moving the mouse is kind of the big key to that.
Sensitive.
It's very sensitive. So you rotate on one. I'd be on this almost like flying sideways, but the minute I rotate, all of a sudden I get shot from somewhere, and I had no idea where it was coming from.
I know.
And I just rotate. But I use that eventually to my own advantage, because I flip over, see a guy shooting at me, duck back up, and then come back down, and then start shooting at him. I thought, what a unique game to go this way. And then you're collecting these orbs, and then you kind of finish the level and you move on. But the enemies became more and more difficult as you progressed.
Yeah, there was a variety of enemies too. I mean, there wasn't a ton. Limited. They do certain things. The thing is they tend to do a lot of damage. So, like you said, you have to use the level and your sight lines and being able to rotate around the level when the enemies tend to be a little more stationary sometimes. So yeah, having those sight lines and being able to kind of master the controls is really where you're gonna kind of get the most rewarding experience out of this game, because it is 29 levels total, but you kind of whip through the first pile pretty quick. So there's not as much content in this game as some people that maybe would like, but it's a difficult puzzler, I still think, in terms of what you have to do, because sometimes you're searching for broken ship parts and other things like that. So you end up finding everything and destroying the enemies, but then you spend another 10 minutes flying around the level trying to find that one part that, because like you said, it gets disoriented.
You get those parts though to upgrade your ship, and that's why you're kind of out there doing all this stuff. But I find what happens is, because of the way they got the puzzle set up, is you'd have to kind of rotate underneath, like and in the middle of the puzzle sometimes, and it was just like, okay,
the level design
how do I get back out of here? Because I'm all kind of tossed and twisted inside. What do you score? It was really cool.
Well, like we said, it's kind of this 80s retro vibe, and they nailed it, I thought. You know, you got the colors, feels very Tron-like with, you know, the way everything looks. The music was great. The only thing I didn't like about the audio is I found that sometimes the audio tracks, they're not very long, so they repeat. So I noticed in the background as I'm concentrating, I'm like, what's the same song again? And like, it's great, and I liked it. And and the controls with this one, I thought there wasn't a whole lot of guidance, but they're fairly simple. It's just hard to master with the angle changes and everything. But overall, they built a solid game. I think the level design was great. It is difficult enough to kind of keep you coming back, but frustrating enough to make you put it down for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, go for a walk and come back. For me, man, I'm putting this one kind of right above the middle mark. I'm going with a 7.
That's not bad at all. That's not a bad score. I'm right there with you. I'm just a little bit lower with a 6.5. Corey, before we go, we got hooked up though with an extra code. So if you can figure out this code at the bottom, everything's there except for the very last digit is a question mark. If you can figure that out, head to Steam, the game is all yours.
Dystoria does a great job at bringing you back to that 80s arcade feel, but don't let that fool you. Mastering the controls and learning how to traverse each level will take some time. Being able to upgrade my ships and weapons was also a nice touch, but I found the camera angles can change and can be tough, and I found it hard to get used to and sometimes even disorienting.
Subscribe to never miss a video, and help us by hitting that like button.